Hello students, Neeta Choksi here. This video is for Standard 10, Subject English, from your book First Flight, second chapter, A Long Walk to Freedom. This is the second part of your chapter. A few moments later, we all lifted our eyes in awe as a spectacular array of South African jets, helicopters and troop carrier rode in perfect formation over the Union building. It was not only a display of pinpoint precision and military force, but a demonstration of military's loyalty to democracy, to a new government that had been freely and fairly elected. Now see children, many times we have seen the parades during the national festivals, that is Republic Day or Independence Day, how the aeroplanes and helicopters, how they display the colors of flag by emitting colorful smoke of our flag, and how they display the image of our national flag, as well as they perform different tricks in air. So all this, when we see all these things, it awakens the feeling of patriotism in oneself. When we see all these things, we feel proud that we are part of the great nation. So this is how they show the respect and loyalty, sincerity towards the nation, who the militaries. Only moment before, the highest generals of the South African Defence Force and police, their chests bedecked with ribbons and medals from days gone by, saluted me and pledged their loyalty. I was not unmindful of the fact that not so many years before they would not have saluted but arrested me. Now see, in the same way here, Nelson Mandela, he says that after finishing the speech, when he saw such an attractive display of South African jets, he felt very proud. He felt very proud to be a part of this nation, South Africa, as he was elected the first black president. He was feeling so proud and honored. At the same time, a thought suddenly struck in his mind that few years back, these militaries who are just honoring him, they went previously and just saluting him and giving him respect, they were previously going to arrest him. Why? Because at that time he was fighting for justice against the white supremacies. So these were the same people who are now honoring me. But previously, if they would come in front of me, they would arrest me. Finally, a chevron of Impala jets left a smoke trail of the black, red, green, blue and gold of the new South African flag. Now, this was a great achievement for not only him but for his people also. Which achievement that he has become? He was elected as the first black president, and now he is going to serve for his nation, removing the racial discrimination. And at that moment, a display of their flag was seen in the sky, which was of their flag color was black, red, green, blue and gold. Now see children, here green color in their flag, they signifies or identifies fertility. Black color, it identifies the people of South Africa. Whereas the gold color, it identifies or shows the nation's mineral wealth. Moving on to second paragraph. The day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthems and the visions of white singing Kosi Sikelel Africa and black singing Die Stem, the old anthem of the Republic. Although that day neither group knew the lyrics of the anthem they once despised, they would soon know the words by heart. Now he is saying that on this ceremony, two national anthems were sung by two groups. That is, one group was of black people and another group was of white people. They both these groups sung different national anthem only to symbolize or show the equality between the black and white. As now the country, it is going to be a new republic democratic country without any racial discrimination. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned people of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. Now see children, here Anglo-Boer War. This Anglo-Boer War was between the black people of the South Africa as well as the other people like Dutch or the Oranges who were residing in South Africa against the Britishers or white people. Why? Because the white people or the Britishers, they wanted to expand their supremacy here also in South Africa. We have already learned in primary standard that Britishers in India, they were exploiting the farmers. So in the only to expand their rule. So same was the case over here also. In South Africa also they wanted to expand their rule, and so they were exploiting the farmer. So to stop this expansion, this Anglo-Boer War was held. Anglo-Boer, they are the people along with the South African Oranges and Dutches, or they are generally known as the people who are engaged in the activity of farming. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman societies the world has ever known. Now, in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man, that system had been overturned forever and replaced by one that recognized the rights and freedom of all peoples regardless of the color of their skin. Okay, now see, Nelson Mandela, he says that looking back in history, he describes the system of government in his country. He says that in first decade, that is decade is a period of 10 years of the 20th century, the white people of South Africa showed up their differences and created a racial system. Again explaining what is a racial system, that is a discrimination between black people and white people, where the black people, they were deprived of their rights. They looked down on black people, who the white people, they looked down on black people. And this was one of the harshest and most inhuman society created by the white people. Then suddenly in the last decade of the 20th century, the system almost took a new side. That means the racial discrimination almost completely vanished from the society. It was totally demolished. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people, people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. Patriots means they are the people who has love and respect towards their own nation. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them, and they are not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Wrought means done or achieved. That means Nelson Mandela, he continues with his speech on this ceremony. He says that he was not able to thank the people who had sacrificed their life for fighting against this racial discrimination. He says that the suffering and courage of these people, they can never be counted or repaid. They were the people who took place in each and every South African's heart. That means they were seen with great honor and respect. He further says that it was also a part of patriots who had sacrificed their life for their country. He feels sad that the other patriots who are not between us, and they are not able to see the rising days of South Africa, for which they had fought for. So he feels very sad for them. The policy of apartheid. Again, what is apartheid? Apartheid, that means that was a system in which discrimination was made between black people and white people. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. Profound means deep and strong. But the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulas, the Chief Luthulus, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Soboquils of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that there, like many, never be known again. Perhaps it requires such depth of operation to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have also known that its great wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. Now see, he continues his speech that the policy of apartheid, it created a very deep impact on people's mind and heart. That means the people of South Africa, they were very deeply hurt by the ill treatment done by the white people, as they were not treated well. The white people always dominated on the black people, and the black people, they were not even able to enjoy their basic rights. It will take many years or either generations to recover from this pain. It would not be easy for the people of South Africa to forget how they were treated badly by the white people. Nelson Mandela shows his gratitude towards the great heroes of South Africa like Oliver Tambos, Walter Sisulu, the Chief Luthulus, Yusuf Dadus, Bram Fishers, Robert Sobukes. He says that his country is rich not only by the minerals and gems, but by the people. The people are more precious than the material thing or diamond. It is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen men stand up to attack and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Triumph, a meaning is victory, and resilience means the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effect. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Now see children, here Nelson Mandela, he says that it were these national freedom fighters who provided inspiration to him. He shows his respect towards the men and women who never hesitated to risk their life for attaining justice. He also says that he had seen the freedom fighters who bared the torture done by the white people, but they stood very strongly against them without giving up. He says that from these freedom fighters he had learned that courage does not, see children, this is very important, listen very carefully. He says that he had learned that courage, it doesn't mean not to be afraid of anything, but courage means when you achieve victory over your fear, when you leave your fear behind you. That is the real meaning of courage. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposites. Even in the grimmest time, grimmest means saddest time in prison, when my comrades means colleagues or companions, and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity, glimmer that is glance of humanity in one of the guards, perhaps just for a second, but it was enough to reassure me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that cannot be hidden, but never, that can be hidden, but it can never be extinguished. Now, Nelson Mandela, he further shares his idea on discrimination, that nobody in this world hate one another on the basis of their skin or either religion or their background. Only if they had personally experienced from another one, then and then only it is possible to hate or discriminate somebody. He also says that one who has the ability or potential to hate anyone, they can also be taught to love. When he was in prison, he was inspired by the guard and the officer who had courtesy and humanity left in them. Even when they had many bad times in jail, that means when they were ill-treated by the guards, then too Nelson Mandela could experience a glance of humanity in the officers. Maybe the guard, while they were torturing, at that time they knew that they were not doing something good, due to which an expression of guilt was seen on their faces, due to which Mandela says that they could experience a glance of humanity in them. In them means in the guards, which maintained his trust on humanity. So Nelson Mandela, he says that the quality of goodness and humanity, it is like a flame in a person which can never be extinguished or cooled down. One can hide but cannot extinguish it. Each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclination and abilities. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. Okay. Now see children, here Nelson Mandela, he says that in every man's life there are two types of obligation, or we can say that responsibility, that is either for family or for his nation. In South Africa, a man of color who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably, means unavoidably, ripped from his family. Ripped means separated. Ripped from his family and his home, and was forced to live a life apart, a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people above my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. That means he says that there are two types of obligation which a person has to fulfill, that is for his family or for his nation. So if we talk about any democratic country where people are not deprived of their rights, there anybody they can fulfill these responsibilities very easily, that is towards their family also as well as towards the nation also. Why? Because here there are no obstacles, nobody is there to stop them. But if we talk particularly about South Africa, before independence, where people they were deprived about their basic rights. Which people? The black people. And also this thing is not possible over there. See children, this is very important. Why this thing was not possible? Because people were ill-treated on the basis of their color. They were not able to enjoy even their basic rights. Then he says that a man who tried to fulfill his responsibility, they were sent far away from their home, that is apart from their family members. The white people, they treated the black people as slaves. Then he further says that previously he had no idea to serve and fight for country, but when he experienced himself the ill treatment of white people, Mandela thought that he will surely fight against the white people, not only for himself but also for his countrymen. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my brother's hut, free to swim in the clear streams that ran through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad back of slow-moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man. See, after this, his hunger for freedom increased. He started realizing the importance and need of freedom, and he wanted to be free from the bondages of the white people. He wanted to run, swim, and do all the other activities which a normal person does. He says that as long as he did not protest against the white supremacy, there was not a problem. But as soon as he started raising his voice against injustice, a bundle of trouble started falling on him. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of transitory, that is, which is not permanent, of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased and go where I choose. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potentials, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. That means Nelson Mandela, he says that as a child, he thought freedom was to only to run in the field, or to swim in the streams, or to ride the bull, or do whatever you like. But then he started realizing that freedom was an illusion. That means it was an imaginary thing which cannot be happen in a true state, which is not in a real sense at all. At first, when he was a student, he wanted only for himself freedom, that is to stay out till late nights without interference of parents. Later, as a young man, he was not able to, when he was not able to enjoy his basic freedom also, that is freedom of earning, or freedom to marry, or freedom towards his family, at that time he became very irritated and frustrated. And so he decided to fight for it. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, that means reduced or obstructed, we can say, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. That is when I joined the African National Congress, and this is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life, that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. So now, see, after experiencing all this ill treatment done by the white people, when he himself started experiencing all this thing, Nelson Mandela, he decided to fight against the white supremacy. And so he decided to join the African National Congress, who was already fighting for the black people of South Africa. He wanted to fight not only for him but also for his brothers and sisters of South Africa. Now, after this period, his hunger for freedom increased. This was the time when Nelson Mandela came on the front stage and decided to take the leadership for the countrymen, as he wanted to see his countrymen to live with respect and honor. Now, all these thoughts, they totally transformed his personality of a frightened young man into a bold man who would break the law to justify his countrymen. And so, he is describing himself as a criminal here. Transformed a frightened young man into a bold one that drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. Why criminal? Because as he was breaking the law to fight against the injustice done to the South African people. And so he is describing himself as a criminal. Actually, he was not a criminal. That turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home, that forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. So because this fight was at another level, he had to leave behind his family and he had to live a life like a monk, that is saint, who lives without his family to attain his goal. I am no more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. That means he wanted to remove the chains, that means the bondages that were laid by the white people from the people of South Africa. He further says that freedom, it is indivisible, means it cannot be distributed among the people. For example, if we talk about one person, I cannot say that you can enjoy this much of freedom only. It is up to you only, and only up to certain limit only you can enjoy the freedom. No, it is not that. Freedom is not a thing which is divisible. It is not that the freedom is indivisible. It cannot be divided. If a person is restricted or not allowed to do the thing, then it will not be tolerated, because it is not limited to a single person, but it is a big question, or it is a global problem for the whole community of South Africa. If one single person is hindered or stopped for enjoying their rights, that means it is a global problem for the whole community. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Okay, now he further says, Nelson Mandela, that a person who tries to take away the freedom or right of another person is a prisoner of hatred. He says the man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. That means Nelson Mandela, he says that a person who tries to take away or snatch away the freedom or right of another person is a prisoner of hatred. As such people, they are locked in the prison of hatred. They try to take away other people's freedom. They are people with who are having very small mind with low thoughts, and who are orthodox by nature. They are very stubborn and rigid, and they have a particular idea locked in their mind for certain things where they don't want to change their ideas. They have a strong dislike without any reason, and so if Nelson Mandela, he obstruct any other's freedom, if anybody obstruct any other's freedom, then he is also not free. The people who are the victims, who are deprived of their right, and people who dominate, they seem as if there is no humanity seen in them. The humanity is lost in both of them, in the victim also as well as the people, one who dominate or rule on other people. Both of them, the humanity is never seen in them. So this is the end of the chapter, children, and its explanation. But here, see children, we need to learn one thing, that as Nelson Mandela did not give up easily, though he was imprisoned for nearly 28 years and had to hold on or fight for a very long period. But he fought with great patience and he achieved the victory. He sacrificed his whole life to remove the racial discrimination from his country, South Africa. Nelson Mandela, after a long struggle, he won the love of almost all his people and became a global hero, not only for the people of South Africa, but for the people of the whole world. Thank you.